So, in your eyes, what's going on in El Segundo with the Chargers?
I mean, when I saw that they had almost $100 million in cap space, roughly 90 million, upwards of 90 million in cap space after they released Joey Bosa, I was thinking that the Chargers were going to be very active in free agency. I heard that at the combine in Indianapolis a few weeks ago. And so my expectation was that they were going to be aggressive, upgrade obvious holes on the offensive line, particularly the interior offensive line, certainly at receiver, and maybe even at cornerback. And to my surprise, and to a lot of people's surprises, they have done. I mean, I won't say they have done next to nothing. I think Najee Harris is a quality back, especially for the contract that they gave him, that 1 year deal, incentive laden deal. I think it's kind of a lateral move from J.K. Dobbins. They're different styles, but they're probably the same caliber of running back. Now,
And
with
this
Greg
kid's too
Roman's
healthy.
offense, I think he fits better with that power run scheme and that one cut, go downhill type run. I mean, that's why they had Gus Edwards, but Gus Edwards never kind of materialized. So when you look at Najee Harris, he's an upgrade from Gus Edwards. And then the defensive pieces that they added, I mean, they don't move the needle, in my opinion. I'm glad that Khalil Mack is back in LA. They certainly need a pass rush, but wide receiver. When I was looking at like my phone and texting back and forth with different people, and I saw Devontae Adams go to the LA Rams, I was like, whoa. Like I knew he wanted to be in the West Coast. I was thinking, okay, the Rams are letting go of Cooper Kupp. They're trying to get younger at the position. So I'm thinking, okay, Chargers, this is your time to swoop in. No one, Devontae Adams. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm hearing a lot of people say that DK Metcalf wants to be in Los Angeles. Deion Henley and him trained together in LA. They're friends. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they have their chips at DK Metcalf. And I think that same day, I'm hearing DK Metcalf probably not going to go to the Chargers. And then probably within an hour or 2 hours, DK Metcalf traded to the Steelers. And at that point, I'm like, wow, those are the two free agents or free agent and wide receiver available via trade who I have pegged to go to the Chargers as probably best available players to drastically upgrade the wide receiver position. And they missed on both of them. And now they're pretty much have to go with whatever is available. Now, you can kick the tires with Keenan Allen or Mike Williams again. I don't think that's necessarily going to work. I know a lot of people like Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp and Keenan Allen play in the slot. So does Ladd. And we text back and forth about Ladd. I know. I think Ladd is a fine player. He
Special
was in
White.
he's in a stop it. He was in a conversation for best rookie
White
wide receivers, most
white
production, most
receiver or wide
productive
receiver?
wide. Oh my goodness, wide receiver. But he's not a number one. And they're Chargers fans who think he's number one. He's not a number one. And my argument is you put Ladd on Super Bowl or playoff caliber teams. Who is he wide receiver one for? The Patriots don't have a good wide. I mean, the Chiefs don't have a good wide receiver for.
With the Patriots,
No.
who are
Look, no.
known for having wide
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. No, that's against my point. I don't even know why I said the Patriots. The Chiefs. The Chiefs have he would not be wide receiver one on the Chiefs.
Who is?
Rasheed Rice would.
Oh, okay. I'm talking.
You can make a case that Xavier Worthy would be wide receiver two, even with Ladd. The Eagles, he's wide receiver 3. The Bengals, wide receiver 3. I mean, you look at you could go down the list. Even teams like the Cowboys, wide receiver 2. Texans, wide receiver 2, maybe 3. You
No,
can keep on going down the list. And so what I'm saying is, and that's not a knock on Ladd at all. I think Ladd is a fine player. But if you're trying to beat these upper echelon teams, you have to do better at the skill position players. And that's including tight end. So
well, no, they
that's
have
my
to
thing.
upgrade tight end. But look,
You have to play both.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. DK Metcalf's not worth $30 million a year.
I mean,
No,
he probably isn't. I agree
20 to
with you.
25 is like the kind of
I
the
agree
limit.
with you there. However, with the state of the Chargers wide
No,
receiver
I
position
agree. I
and
agree.
the cap space that you have, you might have to overpay, splurge a little bit. You got money.
But Baltimore doesn't do that either. I mean, look at that's why I feel like Baltimore hasn't really progressed, because Baltimore doesn't do that either. It's kind of the Harbaugh thing to not they upgrade everywhere else. They have a kick-ass team everywhere else except for a receiver. My worry with this team is guard, center, and guard. The interior was really bad last year. That's what I mean, besides the weapons part, that really stopped them from progressing and winning a lot of games. You saw in Houston, Justin Herbert took a beating, and you're not signing anybody, and then you like kind of piss everybody off by saying, "Oh, we're going to re-sign Bradley Bozeman to a multi-year extension." Everybody's like, "What is going on?" And then Trey Pipkins is kind of still on the team. That's freaking fans out. Then Zion, they're talking about, "Oh, well, we might put him at center." My mind, when you start talking about moving positions for players, that's it. They don't see a future for that guy. So they moved Trey already, and he didn't do really well at guard. Then you're talking about moving Zion to center. That's worrisome. Then you go to the defensive line. There's a lot of worrisome there. Otito Ogbanya doesn't move the needle at all, and I'm sure it doesn't for the team either. You lose Puna Ford. I thought the loss of Puna Ford was bad, but I think they're looking at this draft and they're saying, look, we could probably pluck two defensive tackles from this draft and we'll be okay. The receiver spot, I agree with you, but I kind of share a little bit more of what the Buffalo Bills. I know the Buffalo Bills didn't win, but I kind of share what the Buffalo Bills and even what the Chiefs have done recently, where they spread the football around. They have multiple guys. The Chargers don't even have multiple guys on the
Exactly.
field.
That's totally different.
And that's the thing that is worrisome, I'm sure, for a lot of fans. But I'm still kind of like on the wait and see, because I'm like stepping back. I just need to see what the full product is going to be. Because when they drafted Ladd last year, people were kind of like, well, he's good, but. And then you see what he was on the field, and you're kind of like, okay, well, maybe they can find another diamond in the rough. But finding one more ain't going to cut it. Like, you need to come out of this with a tight end, a pass catching tight end in the sense that can block. And then on top of that, you're going to need to find receivers that can move the needle. I mean, literally, it's crazy. Houston knew all you need to defend is one freaking receiver, and they still couldn't defend him.
Yeah.
197 yards and a touchdown, and you couldn't defend him. And everybody else, like today I was on a radio show in Buffalo. They're like, what does Josh Palmer bring? I'm like, look, he brings a lot, but at the same time, he is hurt. $12 million for, I didn't say this on the radio show, but $12 million for Josh Palmer is a lot a year. Like, he was not healthy at the end of the season. He could have helped in Houston. And I told them, honestly, Tyler, and you know me, I'm honest. He's good for 2 or 3 catches a game. That's what Palmer does. So that's what I told them. I'm like, he's not this guy that's going to come in here and get you 100 yards a game, 70 yards. No, he's a guy that'll get 3 catches for 50 yards, which will be solid. But that's the frustration I'm sure that it's starting with. It's the offense that Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh are about running the football. You brought in Najee Harris at 5.25. That is great. But who is going to be blocking for him? Because there were times where JK had to be extremely patient. He'd get the ball and he'd be patient, and then he'd try and hit a hole. Boom, here comes a linebacker. Let's go to the other side. All right, patient. Boom, here comes a safety. And it's like, why are you going to, like, and again, I don't think they're going to run it back with this offensive line. I'd be very surprised. I think it would be mismanagement if they ran it back with this offensive line. But I agree with you that when it comes to receiver and tight end, they need major upgrade. And in my thought, they're going to go in this draft and they're going to go get Kenneth Grant from Michigan, defensive tackle. or they're gonna go get the kid out of Alabama, Booker. Is that his last name?
Tyler Booker. Tyler
Yeah,
Booker.
Tyler
Great first
Booker,
name.
guard. Yeah, that's what I personally think they're gonna do. But last year, a lot of people thought they were on the fence 50-50, and then they end up going with the tackle. I thought they were gonna go tackle. But this year, I mean, if Golden's there, if the kid out of Arizona drops, I don't know if they would go for them. That's the
So
thing.
who are
That's
you
what
going
I've
to throw the
noticed.
ball to?
That's what I'm saying. I completely agree with you. I think Justin has to be thinking to himself, I'm sorry, what the fuck is going on? Like, what are we doing here? Like, so I agree with you in that sense, but I am more concerned about the front three defensive or offensive linemen, but receiver, I mean, Justin, I mean, honestly, Justin did a lot last year with a little. Like there was games where Quentin did well, there was games where Quentin wasn't there. Ladd was consistently good for them, but there was games where I'm like against the Chiefs, both games against the Chiefs, I'm like, how is this close? You don't have your two tackles for this game. The offensive line is just beating Herbert up. And then in the game in Kansas City, you don't have Ladd, and you still keep it a close game. Like I was really surprised about the way Joey. I'm really like the way Justin played last year. I was really impressed with. I know I kind of went on a rant, but basically, Tyler, I'm saying yes, you are right about the criticism. I feel like it is warranted for them, but yeah, I agree with you in that they kind of need to start sparking some juice. But again, it's only March 12th. I am a little like I just pointed out the what they need to go do, but let's just wait and see what they're gonna do moving forward. But yeah, no, there should, I mean, the concern is warranted, but at the same time, I like Vic said a little bit ago, I think they're gonna be going more after the second and third wave of free agents. But for receiver, you just can't wait that long because I mean they're all basically taken now. I mean, Keen,
They
I
should go
think
after Amari Cooper. I think Cooper is solid. I think Stephon
yeah, he'd
Diggs
be
is
all
solid,
right.
although he's coming off a knee injury. But you got to get some juice in that room. You
Yeah.
got to get some juice in that room. And I get
I
what
mean,
you
if Golden falls into their lap and they take him, I think Golden would be incredible in this offense. I
he
mean, not
would.
this offense. This offense is a little
Archaic.
yeah, that's why, you know what? And it's funny when they brought him in, when they brought Greg Roman, I thought Greg Roman was going to come in as a tight ends coach or something else. I thought he would go get a young offensive minded head coach from college football and bring him in as his offensive coordinator, bring some young gun in to like kind of go over what's now in the NFL. He didn't do that, and I was kind of a little bit. I'm interested to see what happens this year because if they're not able to move it, he has to think like this dude's on a. I mean, your brother fired him a year and a half in. Like you might have to do that. But then Marcus, my thing would be Marcus Brady probably takes over as the. Well, I mean, we're already firing Greg Roman, but my
I mean,
bad. All right.
I don't see why Marcus Brady's not the offense coordinator to begin with. I trust Marcus
That's who I
Brady.
thought. I thought he was gonna. By the way, San Diego's own. That's all we produce out here. Just saying. But California burritos and good offensive or good football players. Just saying.
Okay.